Okay, right, so I've said that we've scrapped the Chief Exec's report, we've scrapped the President's report, and we're replacing it. We wanted to rethink. We didn't want to do the same old, same old. It would be just sacrilege to do that this year. I'd like to introduce a different approach to keeping you all up to date. You will learn what we've been doing over the past 12 months, and you will look at what's being planned for the coming 12 months and beyond, but hopefully in a more informative way, a little bit more of a relaxed way. And I'd like to have join me on the stage a panel of experts. You know who they are, but they are the experts in their field. Obviously, first off, we have Gary, our Chief Executive, who's taken his chair already. I'd like to ask Rachel Tipton, our Training and Development Manager, to join us on the stage. Thank you, Rachel. I'd also like to ask our Technical Manager, Douglas Masterson, to join us on the panel. And last but by no means least, Liz Mail, our consultant from our PR consultancy, Liz Mail Consulting. Now, the format of this is that I'm Jeremy Paxman, which I've always wanted to be, and I'm going to be putting these chaps under some pressure and asking them some questions. Much of it will be to enable you to understand what we've been doing, but also I'd like to encourage there to be questions from the floor. This is your conference. This is you, the members' opportunity to ask questions, put the experts, me, any of these under pressure, and we will endeavour to answer your questions. So please don't be shy. We have Lucy at the back there, or Davina, or Harry running around with a mic. So if you have a question, just wait for the mic to reach you, and we'll try and deal with it. We're going to kick off with one of our main pillars. Clearly, it's education. That's what the reputation of the Guild is built on, educating our industry, both here and far and wide. And we're very privileged now to have a dedicated training and development manager in the shape of Rachel Tipton. And Rachel, when I was preparing for this, I asked you to come up with a quotation, something that encapsulated how you felt about your last 12 months, in fact, the time that you've been in your role. So just tell us, Rachel, why you've chosen your particular quote.
Well, who knew, Maria, when I got the call from Gary just over 2 years ago now, what this new challenge in my life would bring. Quite exciting. I had a very well-rounded mentor for the first 12 months in Keith Mayer, and supported by the Education Committee, who have over 200 years' experience between them all. Very, very knowledgeable contributions to our training portfolio made by them all. My background is that I was hopefully a very good sales manager, but I used to visit sites, site management, project management, dealt with product queries and problem solving. It's not changed really. I still do site management in a different form, project management and product management. Thoroughly enjoy myself. AM to PM, 60 hours a week, no change.
And no overtime.
No overtime, Rachel. Clearly, your time has been taken up primarily with the launch of the Education Hub. This is the big news story in our past 12 months. I'm going to endeavour to link onto the Education Hub just to move around it, if I can, if the live link works, while Rachel tells you a little bit about the Hub. Some of you may already be on it. I know there are probably people in the room who are studying, but others may not have seen it, so it might help to take a look.
As you know, we launched September last year the Certificate in Architectural Hardware online. So that's stages 1 and 2, levels 1 and 2 to some. It's got 24 modules in each, and it's divided into 8 blocks. The blocks consist of reading material, listening or watching. Stage 1 consists of 4 blocks, stage 2 consists of 4 blocks. They can dip in and out of sections within the module, which is really helpful with identifying their strength and weak areas. So if the guys are really, really good, so we've got guys with door closer background, don't have to concentrate fully on that. They can do a little bit of work. Key knowledge checks, answer a few questions to show that they understand it, and perhaps move on to a weaker area and put more concentration in. We don't dictate that they have to spend so many times working through it. It is entirely up to the learner how they progress to their end goal of passing, hopefully, their exam. Each block assessment in the old syllabus is coursework. To some of you guys out there, it's now known as block assessment, is guided. We ask that they have block 1 completed by January, block 2 February, but Again, it's down to the individual, how they take on each block assessment.
Rachel, how does it work for a student? How do they know, by using the hub, how well they're doing? And in fact, how do the training managers who within the employers track the progress of their students?
On the hub itself, there is a tool that tells them how many hours they've worked in each area and whether they've completed it or not. And for the training managers, they've got their own log-on to the Education Hub. Hopefully the training managers have contacted Harry, who assigned the learners to them, and they can log on and see how well their guys are doing, how many hours they're doing or not doing, as the case may be.
Thank you. Paul?
So I just wondered from this year what the ratio was from overseas.
Yeah, I can answer that very quickly, Paul. 47% of the total were from overseas, and you'll see it's very high. Yeah, It grew from 44% the previous year, and I think it was hovering around the 40% the year before. So there's 39, I've just been told. So it's gradually seen, and you know, the balance of UK and overseas is becoming nearer and nearer to 50-50. So that's the truth.
And a little bit later, we'll take a look at some figures that Davina very kindly prepared on where those countries are, where the most students are. And there's a concentration which is quite interesting.
In real numbers, though, does that mean the numbers each year are remaining the same? Because you're talking about percentages here. So the numbers...
No, the numbers have gone
up. The actual
by
numbers
the
are
same token, because
significantly up.
The numbers grew from 312 previous year to 382 this year.
So in real terms, the numbers of UK-based students is growing?
Is growing, but the numbers of overseas is growing slightly quicker.
And that's against the targets that we set ourselves there. So, Paul?
Just a quick question off the back of Paul's question. Students in the UK at the moment, if you don't revisit the GAI programme within 3 years, you've got to start again. Would the Guild consider maybe looking at older students that have done it in the past, left because they've had children, or left because of a reason outside of their control, whether their level of technical knowledge is very good, maybe they could sit an exam or something like that, and then go straight through to the third.
Great question, Paul. Rachel, what have we got planned for that?
We've actually identified that just this year, Paul. We've had a few instances where people have said, I don't want to start again. 3 years, 2 years of hard work to have to go back to one to finally finish my third year, you know, it is really too much. So we've made proposals to education and to the exec, and it's only just been passed. We're going to introduce a challenge exam where the student can sit one off the challenge exam that will be an array of subjects across the board of anything that they could possibly answer. About an hour's long, and if they pass, they can move on to the stage that they want to go to, rather than go back to stage one.
Thank you. And Graham, did you have a question?
Just a very quick one. As well as telling the students about the snow and the collisions we've had, have we told their training managers?
Absolutely.
We did.
Yes.
We know, communication is key around these things, and we highlighted that straight away, and both Harry and I, fair to Harry, he's done a grand job. There's lots of ways we communicate through the Learner Forum is just one. Emails is another. We've got our CRM database is now talking to the hub. So from next month, not only can we email, but we can text if the students' mobiles are on there. So there'll be various ways, and training managers is one of them.
Very, very much so. Very important.
We're trying to be quite proactive in communication. With online, it can become quite as if you're a distance, but we still want to be very approachable. And Harry does a really good job of doing that, reaching out to people.
Thank you. Any more questions on education before we move on to our next pillar? I just want to say a personal thanks to Rachel for her massive contribution and made a huge difference, and I think it's worthy of a round of applause just to say thanks to Rachel.